we've got 2.5 months of this year yet to run, but a record number of people have already been killed in dog attacks this year, prompting calls for more breeds to be banned and a crackdown on ownership laws.
Since January, 9 people have been killed in dog attacks in the UK, and none of those attacks were by dog breeds which are on the banned list. They include 4 deaths involving American Bully XLs.
Well, last year, 3...
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to stop it already. I had to stop it already. I already listened to this twice. And listening to it a third time, I just heard something that I need to touch on. I want to make sure... Sorry about that. I want to make sure everybody caught it because I did not catch it the first few times I watched it.
Are on the banned list.
Okay, let's back it up a little bit.
January, 9 people have been killed in dog attacks in the UK, and none of those attacks were by dog breeds which are on the banned list.
None of the dogs were banned dogs in the UK. I showed the complete list of banned dogs in the UK, side by side with the dogs that are allowed or legal in the UK. The dog ban in the UK is a joke. It's really not even a ban. It's a joke. It's in place to give this fake impression that they care about public safety. It's a facade everywhere you find them. The only place that has genuine bans is the countries or districts that ban all bully breeds.
They include 4 deaths involving American Bully XLs.
Well, last year, 3,272 people needed reconstructive surgery after they'd been mauled by a dog, with 419 of those cases involving children aged 4 or under.
And almost 9,000 people needed hospital treatment for dog bites. That's up 18% on the previous year.
So, as I say, with a record number of UK people killed by dogs this year, never so many before, is it time to bring in tougher laws and ban more dangerous dogs? Well, joining us now is vet Charlie Gray. He says that banning dog breeds just...
Okay, so this is a vet. It's a veterinarian. So right away, you can't trust them. Right off the bat, you got to keep in mind that she is about to regurgitate a bunch of lies. Okay? This is a dog nutter. She's not a professional. Dog nutters are not professionals in any way. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about facts or information. The only thing they care about is projecting dogs in a negative way and trying to find some other person or thing to blame for dog attacks other than the dogs themselves.
Won't solve the problem. Sorry.
Jesus.
And of course, right off the bat, you hear that she said that banning these things will not solve the problem. Yes, it will. Give me that. When so many of these attacks are carried out by bully breeds, don't tell me that banning bully breeds won't have an impact. It's a lie.
Tougher laws and ban more dangerous dogs. Well, joining us now is vet Charlie Gray. He says that banning dog breeds just won't solve the problem. Sorry.
Jesus.
I'm so sorry, she. And journalist Johnny Seifert, who thinks that if banning a breed can save a life, then we should do it. Charlie, I'm sorry about that. Let's start with you. Look, let's have another look at this picture of this American...
Man, this poor man, he did his best to try to fight this nuttery. Okay, but I think he could have done better because she left herself real vulnerable.
Bully XL. Now, this breed killed 4 people here this year. It's the top killer. If it had been banned, then those 4 people might still be alive today, mightn't they?
That's one way to look at it, but at the minute, if we go back and look at all the statistics since that Dangerous Dogs law was changed to ban those 4 breeds, the number of deaths has increased, not decreased. So we had, you know,
the number of deaths have increased because their ban is a joke. they ban like 4 different bully breeds, but you're allowed to have like 10 or 12 other different types of bully breeds. And the ban or the number of attacks went up because more people are acquiring those bully breeds in the UK, just as they're doing here in the United States. Don't give me that. Don't try to run no game on me. Let's back that up. This rhetoric.
This American Bully XL. Now, this breed killed 4 people here this year. It's the top killer. If it had been banned, then those 4 people might still be alive today, mightn't they?
That's one way to look at it. But at the minute, if we go back and look at all the statistics since that dangerous dogs law was changed to ban those 4 breeds, the number of deaths has increased, not decreased. So we had, just 15 before in the 10 years up to 1991. And actually then in the 10 years between 2002 and 2012, there were 39. And obviously we're up to 6 this year. So I think the fact is that whilst we're discussing banning another breed to solve the problem, it seems like we're trying to add to a piece of legislation that didn't work in the first place.
It didn't work because it was not a real ban. Don't try to use that to your advantage now to try to prove that bans don't work. You didn't impose a workable ban. The ban was not meant to increase safety. It was a facade to give the impression that their government cared about public safety. See how they try to use that to their advantage? They're always trying to skew the truth.
In 2012, there were 39. And obviously we're up to 6 this year. So I think the fact is that we're...
You talking now, they banned 4 bully breeds. And you can have like 10, 12 other types of bully breeds. And you talking saying that banning them won't help. I bet you if you ban all of those bully breeds, you will see a change in the statistics. You want to try that? You don't want to try that? That'll include your Rottweiler. She is the owner of a Rottweiler. Now, is that the type of person who should be talking right now? Just a bona fide nutter. And she is offering a nutter's argument.
Problem. It seems like we're trying to add to a piece of legislation.
Boy, oh boy. Y'all, you just wait. Don't be surprised if you see me on one of these panels. And I'm going to be ripping these nutters apart. Y'all will never see somebody tear into these people the way I am. And I'm just waiting for the moment. They're all going to get it. Putting out these goofy, debunked arguments.
To solve the problem, it seems like we're trying to add to a piece of legislation that didn't work in the first place. And I'm sure we'll go on to talk about it, but a lot of my issue here is that it's not the dogs that are causing the problem. It's the people that are breeding these dogs to have deliberately challenging temperaments. And I think actually...
So the people who breed them train them to attack? Train them to be... How do you know that? Don't try to make no sweeping assumption like that unless you're prepared to prove it. What are you talking about? How did you prove that? That's something that you cannot know. You cannot even discover that. What are you talking about? You don't make no wild guesses like that, woman. Sit your ass down. People like that shouldn't even be talking. You don't make wild assumptions like that. Stuff that's obviously not true. You gonna say that every dog that has attacked someone was trained to attack by its breeder? Shut your stupid mouth. Now, I want to instruct the jury to remove that from her testimony, you big goofball.
in the 10 years up to 1991. And actually then in the 10 years between 2002 and 2012, there were 39. And obviously we're up to 6 this year. So I think the fact is that whilst we're discussing banning another breed to solve the problem, it seems like we're trying to add to a piece of legislation that didn't work in the first place. You know, and I'm sure we'll go on to talk about it, but a lot of my issue here is that it's not the dogs that are causing the problem, it's the people that are breeding these dogs to have deliberately challenging temperaments. And I think actually the increase this year is more to do with COVID and the fact that we've got a lot of unsocialized dogs.
No, that stupid COVID ain't had nothing to do with it. Don't try that. See how they'll create this propaganda, and then it'll pass it around. It'll permeate throughout the dog nutter world, and they'll all regurgitate the same old talking point. This woman has done nothing but read a bunch of articles and given you that so-called explanation. One vet or one behaviorist will put the narrative out there, and it'll go viral, and then they'll all regurgitate it. COVID ain't have nothing to do with this, because you've not established exactly how the COVID lockdown created dangerous dogs or made dogs more aggressive. Every argument that you've offered makes no sense. You're saying that there was a lack of socialization during lockdown. No, there was not. No, there was not. And if you're trying to argue that dogs need to constantly see strangers that do not live in its home in order to not attack those strangers, then you're dealing with a creature that got no business in society. You don't play games like that. Oh, if I don't let this mutt look at strange people walking up and down the street every day, it'll just attack them? That don't even make no sense. Stop with that. Goofy mutt had plenty of socialization. It was inside the house with the people who live inside the house during COVID, wasn't it? Which means what? It was around people more often. And that is the cause of the increase of attacks. People were spending more time with their dog. More proof that dogs are the problem. Got nothing to do with COVID, and got nothing to do with no goofy mythological breeders. Nutter. Man, these people irk me to death. All right, let's continue.
People impulse buying dogs who perhaps could have chosen better breeds or shouldn't have had a dog at all.
Oh, now she recognizes that there's differences between breeds. No, impulse buying, that same goofy argument. Well, these people were impulse buying. They didn't understand how much time and effort and dedication it takes to teach this dog to not attack people. Through and through, their arguments are just worthless. Worthless. I know a strong argument when I hear it. I know a convincing. If they even had a convincing argument, I would admit it. Had no problem doing that. But this is not it.
With COVID and the fact that we've got a lot of unsocialized dogs, we had people impulse buying dogs who perhaps could have chosen better breeds or shouldn't have had a dog at all.
Charlie, I wonder if you can... I know that you...
Shouldn't have had a dog at all. We're talking about dog attacks. Shouldn't have had a dog at all. This is man's best friend. This is the holy, sanctified creature sent from heaven that can't do no wrong. No bad dogs. There's no such thing as nobody shouldn't having a dog. Why? Why would they? It's a harmless angel. But you're telling me that some people shouldn't have them? That sounds like you got something up your sleeve. Con artists. This is con artist stuff, man. Nobody should have them. Because you don't know what's going on in their disgusting brain. And you don't have control over these things. And you're just being arrogant. Thinking you got so much control over other living things.
You own a Rottweiler, don't you?
Yes.
Now, a Rottweiler is implicated in one of these fatalities. You're a vet, you're a responsible dog owner. But can you just describe what is a Rottweiler like? What is an American Bully XL like? Because both of those dogs are pretty fearsome looking.
Yeah, they look scary. We've got Alan. I've got a Rottweiler called Alan who's currently just mootering around, so he can always come over and see us. But the majority of Rottweilers and American Bully XLs that I see at the vets are lovely, and I think
They're lovely. Okay.
we've got to be reasonable and say it's not as simple as.
What? The majority that you've seen are lovely. What are you talking about? What does that mean? That means that when you saw them, they wasn't ripping somebody's throat out. They was just standing there looking dumb like they always doing. You don't have any clue or idea how dangerous they were if you just saw them in a shelter. What are you talking about, you goofball? The majority I've seen were lovely. What the hell are you talking about? Did you raise all of them? No, you just walked by and saw them. Oh, I just saw 10 pit bulls and they were lovely. Wow. That's the expert opinion?
Always come over and see us. But the majority of Rottweilers and American Bully XLs that I see at the vets are lovely. And I think...
lovely? Really? Oh, lovely. I bet you Jeffrey Dahmer looked lovely at some point out at the nightclub when you may have seen him. Look at that man. He looks lovely. Go home with that lovely man. Boy, oh boy.
Reasonable and say it's not as simple as deed versus breed, which is what you tend to get on social media, because you do have to be aware that you're dealing with a dog that is potentially stronger than you are.
No, it's not potentially strong. It is stronger. We're talking about bully breeds. It is stronger. What are you talking about? Potentially stronger. The fact is, you just stupid if you're in possession of one. That Rottweiler in your house, if it starts ripping your face off, what you gonna do? Scream and pray and hope that it don't kill you. And then we'll see exactly how stupid you were that whole time for having that thing in your house. But guess what? Now it's too late. Yeah, some people out here don't want to be that stupid. There ain't no defending this lifestyle.
You do have to be sensible about the way you breed them, the way you raise them. And breeding...
Why? You ain't got to be sensible how you breed no other animal. You ain't got to train no other animal not to attack people. Oh, you have to breed them. You have to start teaching them as puppies. Oh, stop. You know why they say that? Because dogs come out of the womb with a natural instinct to attack. Natural instinct to kill. And they're saying that you need to try to suppress that natural instinct for the entire duration of their life. And then, even after you do that, the thing could still, at any moment, regress back to its natural instinct, which is likely. Because it's going to be in so many different situations that's going to trigger its instinct. They're simply too dangerous to have in society. This type of reckless talk from the so-called experts is criminal. This is criminal. And these people shouldn't be looked at as experts. These are criminals.
As deed versus breed, which is what you tend to get on social media, because you do have to be aware that you're dealing with a dog that is potentially stronger than you are. So you do have to be sensible about the way you breed them, the way you raise them. And breeding and raising these dogs to be fighting and roughhousing and messing around.
There you go again. Assuming that every dog that attacks was taught to attack people. Where you getting that from? How'd you discover that? That is a ridiculous lie. It's a lie.
So you do have to be sensible about the way you breed them, the way you raise them. And breeding and raising these dogs to be fighting and roughhousing and messing around with.
Fighting, roughhousing, messing around. They come out the womb doing that. They're puppies all over YouTube attacking toys. mauling toys. You can't stop them from doing that. It's impossible. Every dog is going to bite on something, maul on something. That's why you give them toys, because you know that's what they want to do. This is so dishonest, woman. Stop it. Well, just a bunch of liars,
stronger
man.
than you are. So you do have to be sensible about the way you breed them, the way you raise them. And breeding and raising these dogs to be fighting and roughhousing and messing around with your kids isn't sensible. But the majority of these dogs are wonderful family pets if they're handled sensibly.
If they're handled sensibly. Wow. This sounds like another goofball waiting to have her face rearranged by some mutt, be sitting up on TV, just be another victim with her mouth on her forehead, her nose down by her chin somewhere, one eyeball on her cheek, the other sitting beside her lips on her forehead, talking about the dog. I don't know what happened. It just snapped one day. I never trained it or raised it to be aggressive. Yeah, this is a disaster waiting to happen.
The majority of these dogs are wonderful family pets if they're handled sensibly. And I think, Alan's a good example of that. Alan! He's not going to come and see me, is he?
Camera shy.
But Charlie,
See, a classic nutter. Wanting to bring a dog on camera. Nobody want to see your mutt. So we can just throw everything you said out the window because we know it's bias. Sitting up here being a nutter. Okay, now let's continue.
We've heard,
He said-
we've heard over and over again over the years, we've heard of these dogs which have been perfectly well behaved, perfectly well trained. They suddenly can flip.
Did you see that? She started giving that dog some milk. Tried to lure the mutt over with food. That is so pathetic.
And when that happens, they are killing machines. Why would somebody...
Wait, did you hear what he said? What is she doing?
These dogs which have been perfectly well behaved, perfectly well trained, they suddenly can flip. And when that happens, they are killing machines. Why would somebody want to have a dog which is potentially a human killer?
I think the error there is that people are assuming these dogs are coming out of nowhere. And I think what's going on is there's a serious lack...
Whoa, what? People are assuming that these dogs are coming out of nowhere. Well, okay, what is she talking about? Did you hear the question? Some dogs can flip. They're fine their whole life and then they just snap. Explain that.
They are killing machines. Why would somebody want to have a dog which is potentially a human killer?
Why would somebody want to have a dog that's potentially a human killer? That's a simple question. And listen to how she answers.
I think the error there is that people are assuming these dogs are coming out of nowhere. And I think what's going on is there's a serious lack of understanding of dog behavior, and people are missing the warning signs here.
People missing the warning signs? Whoa, so this question, she has repackaged it. Nobody asked you about no warning signs. You see how she decided to segue as if he asked her, are there any warning signs before dogs attack? He didn't ask you, do dogs attack suddenly without warning? What is you talking about? This is the behavior of a con artist.
Going on is there's a serious lack of understanding of dog behavior, and people are missing the warning signs here. People, even in the vets, I'll get people tell me that they'll say, oh, it's all right, that dog won't bite. And actually, I can see that dog is stressed, that dog is worried. So
she's turned this into a situation where, people just don't see the warning signs before the dog attacks. So the dog attacks successfully. And the reason the attack happened is because you missed the warning sign. That's not what he asked you. He said, why would somebody want a creature in their home that's capable of killing them? What type of sense does that make? And she did not answer the question. Are you saying that it makes sense because they give warning signs before they attack? Is that what she's saying? It has to be what she's saying. She's saying, oh no, they give warning signs before they attack. So it perfectly makes sense to have a creature in your home that can kill you. She's all over the place. Okay, if you see the warning signs, what you gonna do? You're gonna have a fraction of a second to prevent the attack. So you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna be able to neutralize the dog before it bites a would-be victim. The attack is going to happen. So now all you can do is react, and it's a late reaction. You're going to respond to an attack. Now, how capable are you of peeling a Rottweiler or a bully breed off of a human, off of a child? No, that attack is going to continue on for a while. The damage is going to be done. That's illogical. Okay, you're not making any sense. Okay? And this is their professionals. This is big. All of their professionals put up these same tired, illogical arguments.
Coming out of nowhere, and I think what's going on is there's a serious lack of understanding of dog behaviour, and people are missing the warning signs here. People, you know, even in the vets, I'll get people tell me that they'll say, "Oh, it's all right, that dog won't bite," and actually, I can see that that dog is stressed, that dog is worried. And Instagram and Facebook are full of adults with kids laying on, pulling their dogs around, and that is the problem. Is that
what? He asked her, why would people want a killing machine in their home? She somehow managed to skew the discussion about how the real problem is kids pestering dogs. That's literally what she said. She said that's the real problem.
Of adults with kids laying on, pulling their dogs around, and that is the problem, is that we don't know how to behave around dogs, and we don't.
What? So her answer is, well, we just don't know how to behave around them. He said, why would anybody want a killing machine in their home? Well, you just have to behave in the right way. Okay, what way is that? This, that. But it could be anything. We don't actually know. As a matter of fact, anything can set it off. You just have to be on your best behavior so that this killer won't kill you. This supposed to make sense? Is this some type of great wisdom you're blessing us with? That was stupid enough to hear again.
Can see that that dog is stressed, that dog is worried. And Instagram and Facebook are full of adults with kids laying on, pulling their dogs around, and that is the problem, is that we don't know how to behave around dogs, and we don't know how to.
So in other words, she's saying you have to submit to the dogs. You have to be totally submissive. When you bring them into your home, you have to make the dog feel like it's their home. Don't move too fast. Don't run. Don't stare. Don't look at it in the eyes. When it's eating, don't get too close. Don't do this. Don't do that. Act like you're being terrorized inside your own home. That's her answer.
Interpret their behaviour. These attacks are not generally unpredictable, and I had a look at some of the.
It's not about whether or not it's predictable. If they're all predictable, that don't mean they're preventable. They talk as if you being able to see the warning signs is all that you need to stop an attack. I've shown attacks where these warning signs that you talk about are seen before the dog attacks. But those warning signs are only there for a split second. And then the victim is being attacked. Your philosophy of warning signs is not effective. It doesn't work. It's nonsensical. Why don't you understand that? Stop trying to push that nonsense on the masses as if it really makes sense. It don't make sense.
These attacks are not generally unpredictable. And I had a look at some of the attacks over the last sort of 20 years. They include things like husky dragging baby from table whilst owners were upstairs asleep, baby alone in caravan while parents went out for a drink, accidentally let the dog in when the baby was on the floor well after 10 cannabis joints and 2 bottles of wine, and owners never exercising dogs, dog had never been out of house, comments like that. And I think, you know...
So she cherry picked a few cases where people left a baby or child alone with the dog and conveniently bypassed the stories where dogs leapt up and snatched babies out of the arms of adults, where they've just ran over and attacked them. We saw several on film. One child walking through a parking lot holding her parents' hands and was attacked as she was still holding their hands. An adult being there won't make no difference. I've shown videos where multiple adults are unable to stop one dog from attacking. Just one. All you do, we've seen these attacks, woman. We know how you respond to these attacks. You stand around crying, screaming, looking like a goofball, swatting the dog with an umbrella or something, totally ineffective, unable to stop the attack. Each and every time you goofballs respond like this. Nothing you're saying is making sense. Get out of here. What a shameful profession. What a disgraceful, shameful profession. A profession that makes you sound like an idiot.
I counted up the number. 14 of the 56 attacks in a 10-year interval were unattended children. And I cannot understand.
What you gonna do if you there? You just gonna get attacked too. Shut up. Act like an adult presence is all it takes. Goofball. Y'all turn into victims too. What are you talking about? You, as adults, you end up in the hospital bandaged up just like the kids. She talking as if dog attacks only happen to small kids. If there was an adult there, that wouldn't have happened. Because adults never attacked. Yeah, we snatch up a pit bull by the throat like it's nothing. Shut up. Lord, these a bunch of goofballs.
Children. And I cannot understand there's a serious lack of education where you leave a 3-month-old baby with...
Yeah, there is a lack of education on your part. Yeah, those nutters who acquired a mutt with babies in the house, yeah, they lack education too. They just don't sound bright. Forget about education. You don't need education to know better than to bring one of these things inside your home. That's just a case of either you being stupid or not. What is she talking about?
There's a serious lack of education where you leave a 3-month-old baby in a stressful situation with a new dog.
Look, what? Who said anything about a stressful situation? See how they always creating a situation, a scenario that benefits the dog? Creating a scenario to remove all blame from the dog. Instead, blame it on everything else. It was the environment. It was the wind. It was him. It was her. Get out of here. These are disgraceful people, man. That's the simplest way I can put it. This is disgraceful.
Okay. Let's talk to Johnny. Does any of this reassure you, Johnny? Because I know that you have a fear of dogs. I think particularly Rottweilers, which is Charlie's pet.
Yeah, sorry, Charlie.
Man, now, listen to how bright this individual is. Listen to the common sense here. Let's just be practical.
Well, if I see you in the street with your Rottweiler, I'm crossing the road, even if you do say it is safe. I'm petrified of dogs, absolutely petrified. And it's all well and good thinking that the owner knows what to do with the dog. But what happens when they're not there? Let's say, Charlie...
Wait a minute. Because he's got a thick accent, and he's talking kind of fast. So I'm going to turn on the captions here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sorry, Charlie. I will. If I see you in the street with your Rottweiler, I'm crossing the road, even if you do say it is safe. I'm petrified of dogs, absolutely petrified. And it's all well and good thinking that the owner knows what to do with the dog. But what happens when they're not there? Let's say, Charlie, you're walking with your Rottweiler and your other dogs down the road, and one dog goes off one way and your Rottweiler goes the other way. You don't know how that Rottweiler is going to react to me because I'm petrified. I'll be jumping in that tree, and therefore it will get scared. And the dog will act out, and therefore you can't control that. And that's the problem with these dogs.
So he's basically trying to articulate to this lady, you can't control that dog's brain. Anything can set it off. Anything. Behaviorists even tell you that. You can't replicate with those tests. You can't replicate all the scenarios or situations that the dog will be in. That's very simple, and it's irrefutable. And of course, as always, she don't want to accept that. She's an expert at changing the topic.
These scary dogs, you can't control in those situations because you don't know how.
And even if they attack, you can't control them. And she knows it. She's being a goofball right now. If she got a true big ass Rottweiler, she knows if that dog attacks somebody, ain't nothing she can do about it. She can't stop it. It's insulting having this discussion. Because we're talking about a creature that's so dangerous, you shouldn't have it around. And on top of that, if it does attack, the owners can't even stop it. Like, what are you talking about?
I think the reality is that I understand that, and I think the practicality is if we're going to have a dog like a Rottweiler or an American Bull Terrier, we have to be careful and understand that people are afraid and that situations may arise where they are likely to be afraid in response.
The problem is that a lot of the time you will say, do you know what, my dog won't do anything to me. It's fine, it's friendly, it just wants to be friendly with you, just pat it. I can't do that. I'm not going to pat your dog, no offence. I can't go near it. And therefore, you saying to me it's going to be okay isn't okay. It's not okay. And
why does she keep cutting him off? She just thinks she's so entitled to speak. You had your moment to speak. Shut up. Lord, that's part of the reason why he wasn't able to smash her. Kept cutting him off. She think because she the vet, I'm the expert, she thinks she running the show like she the host.
It's going to be okay. Isn't okay. It's not okay. And
Johnny, is there anything that you heard Charlie say at the beginning of that actually banning breeds actually makes the problem worse? Is there anything that she said there that made you change your mind at all?
It's definitely about the education of owners. I think that's a big thing. Obviously, with COVID, a lot of people bought dogs. They weren't just for Christmas, and therefore, because a lot of people bought dogs, they thought, oh, it's going to be okay. We're just going to be ourselves. They didn't get any training, and that is the biggest problem: is that they don't know how to deal with their dogs in certain situations. And if they knew how to control their dogs, why not just stay in them on flicks? You know, there's places like Hampstead Heath in London. I cannot go near. I'm petrified of that part because all the big dogs are off their loose. They're all running around. The owners don't know how to control them in those situations, and that's what I think needs to happen.
To some extent, we are going to end up on the same page on that, because for me, I think that the issue here is with the legislation and the way that particular legislation works, because it hasn't solved the problem, and I don't think adding anybody to it is going to change that in any way.
Shut up. You ban these things, the problem solved. Don't give me that. I'll show you how to make different statistics. Let me create the law in a state. I'll prove to you that banning certain breeds will reduce attacks, dog bites overall, and drastically reduce, if not eliminate, severe mutilations and fatalities. Don't give me that. You look at the statistics on severe mutilations and deaths. Bully breeds are overrepresented. Don't tell me that banning them won't reduce those numbers at least. Yes, it will. The bans that they have put in place that have failed, that they love to bring up, they were put in place to fail. The plan was for them to fail so that they can do what you're doing right now. Get up and say, ha ha, look, banning them is a failure, when you didn't ban all bully breeds at all. We have caught on to your little con game, nutters. There's nothing you can do or say that we haven't dealt with. This is sad. It's embarrassing at this point. Now we almost finished. Let's go ahead and finish this.
But I agree that the lack of education and the lack of understanding that owners have of their own dogs is the issue here. And my Rottweiler would not be off lead.
And if your Rottweiler was on a leash, you couldn't control it anyways. It could still attack anybody it wanted to attack. It would just drag you to the victim. You ain't even in shape. So if you fall, you lose your balance, fall, it's going to take you a few seconds to get back up. Meanwhile, the dog is going to be mauling somebody. You hazardous, dangerous lunatics. The world is sick of you and your dangerous, goofy, nasty culture. This madness has to stop. It has to stop. There's no defense for you anymore. Your stories, your rhetoric, your lies, they have permeated unchecked for a very long time. You all have enjoyed your moment in the sun long enough. Now it is over. It's over. The dog culture in general has never faced this amount of opposition that it currently faces. Look at this channel, for example. Pitbull Victim Awareness. For a long time, they had a very small number of subscribers. It was just a few hundred. I remember when they had just a little over 1,000. They're almost at 6,000 now. More people are watching these videos. More people are subscribing to the channel. More people are becoming aware. You have Dog Free that has tens of thousands more than ever. There's another Reddit group that's pretty popular. Got a good number of people on there. Of course, dogbite.org been mentioned on mainstream media several times. Dogbite.org. And there's several channels. It's not just Pitbull Victim Awareness. It's not just mine. It's not just Chef. It's not just Ashley. It's not just Animal Uncontrol. We Hate Dogs. Kodiak. A few others. Ban All Dogs. There's a whole bunch of channels. People are listening. Okay? Now this video was just uploaded 5 hours ago. I don't recognize it. Here, I want to hear this, if y'all don't mind.
A 2-year-old boy is recovering after being mauled by a pit bull at a Brooklyn Center playground. The incident happened in the morning of May 16th at Bellevue Park. As reporter Sonia Goen shows us, the search is on to find the dog and its owner. And a warning to viewers, some of the pictures you're about to see are graphic.
Good job.
Kara Hurst and her 2 sons are staying close to home these days.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah, this is an old one, an old re-up load. But as always, unprovoked. Unprovoked. So what is the vet gonna tell us? Well, the child was not behaving properly on the playground. You see, these kids, when they are playing, and this happens a lot, they're playing in front yard, backyard, at a park, they're not paying the dog any attention. Many of them don't even know that a dog is around. They're just playing, and then they get attacked. Every attack I've reported on that I've seen was unprovoked. And you got this vet sitting up here telling me that what I've seen and read is not the truth. That the truth is that they were all provoked and somebody just didn't know how to behave around the dog. That is not only obviously false, it's infuriating. Like, it will make people angry. People will vehemently be against you for putting out stuff like that, expecting them to believe it, because that's insulting that you would think that they're that stupid. You know, people will feel insulted. Like, how dare you even think that you could run that on me? That's what we're dealing with this nutter culture. Listen, we are having influence. We're having influence. We are influencing the media. We're influencing journalists. They're listening. Okay? A lot of these people in the dog industry, they're listening. They understand the pushback that they're experiencing right now. And they don't know how to react. They don't know what to do. You know that they want to make their profession look legit and sound legit. That's the only way it'll be appealing. So they don't want stiff opposition. And that's what they're getting. But you see, none of them try to counter our arguments. People, that's a white flag. And that's what they call, is it the white flag? When you submit and you give up? They're waving the white flag. Otherwise, they would jump all over the opportunity to debunk an influencer. Right now, if you ask me, pit bull victim awareness is an influencer. Because there have been articles written and stories done in well-known popular media about social media platforms, Instagram platforms with fewer subscribers than pit bull victim awareness. They would love to debunk an influencer like me. They would see the people who listen and leave comments. They would see the number of videos, and they would be licking their chops like, whoa, let's make an example out of this guy. He's up here saying all this stuff about dogs, and it's false. He's pushing these lies. Oh, let's get him. Let's make an example out of him. But yet, I Google my name all the time. And I don't ever hear nothing from nobody. I don't see no videos. Like, when are these people going to actually challenge me? I mean, this is serious. I call these... Do y'all remember how many experts, how many behaviorist veterinarians have I called out since I've been online? Literally dozens at this point. Dozens. Sent them messages, tweets, made videos about them, used their name in the hashtag. They know that we're out here. But they know that they don't have no rebuttal. Look at this. All these videos titled "I Hate Dogs" uploaded this week. What in the world is this? All dogs go to hell? Huh? In the world? A lot of crazy stuff on YouTube. Here you got another kid talking about how he hates dogs. Now, is he really? Or is he clowning? I think he's clowning for attention. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. This is very serious. Yeah, he's clowning. No, youngsters. This is a serious topic. No plan. What is this? It's like a trend to say I hate dogs. Oh, these are, I think they're gamers or something. They got those games where they travel through and they're shooting everything. Sometimes they get to shoot dogs. Then they'll just hop online and say I hate dogs, something like that. Yeah, but these behaviorists, they're not responding. No matter how far back I go, they're not responding. Nobody, even with a strong reputation, they're not responding. Now, what in the world is this? That's weird. I gotta change my thumbnail. The thumbnail I use won't show up. That's weird. I didn't notice that. You see, here's one. Gamers. Ridiculous. These people out here. See? I don't see nothing. Where you at? Where you at? You know, I was talking to somebody at my job, and they said, well, now you know, once you get a lot of subscribers, you know, like a whole lot of subscribers, if you get a whole lot of subscribers, he said, you know, these people are going to put you in check, right? Talking about the experts. It's like, you know, the experts going to put you in your place, right? He said that. I'm not kidding. And he asked me that as he was serious. He's like, you know, they're going to come at you. If you get a lot of subscribers, you know, they're going to come after you, right? Now, this guy had never listened to my channel. He don't really listen to my channel. But he said that. Just under the impression that the experts know everything. And I told him, no, they won't. No, they won't. They're not going to say a word. Because they don't have an argument. And that's just the way it's going to be for as long as we're on this earth. We might hold a rally here and there. We might have types of, events. And these dog lovers are not going to have anything to say. They're going to stay away and just take it. Okay, this is how it is. Most people, they don't want to believe that any one philosophy is right or wrong. Most people believe that there are holes in all arguments. And there's a way to sort of flip and debunk any argument. Not with this one. And it's not our fault. It's really their fault. There's no way that they can make sense out of this lifestyle. It is really as simple as that. You can't justify it. You can't make sense out of it. right? Shout out to everybody up in here. I am feeling good. I needed a break from this, and I needed to focus on my book. Needed to write and focus on my book. Now, I've been discovered by some very important people in my life. So I'm going to stay quite active on social media. And when I come back, I'm going to be sort of re-energized. 2023, I want to make some things happen. I'm going to make sure this book is out. And I'm experimenting with what I call, or what I have named, power writing. Power writing. I can't explain it right now. You have to actually read it. But that's how I'm going to write the entire book. I'm going to write it in a way that keeps the reader glued. These different writers, I read their material, and it's just too many moments where you can sort of nod off. You know, they don't really keep your attention. They're not really slamming you with facts and information and solid points. I don't want to fail. I don't want this book to fail, so I'm going to make sure I do it right. Whoa, shout out to everybody up in the house. I didn't think this many people would know that I was on this channel. It's like nobody subscribed to this channel. All right? 1 week. I'll never catch up. I never catch up with the nuttery. 1 week? What is going on? Yes. Sad Grill in the house. Moochie, Buster Gundo, wish you well. Wandering Leopard, Isabel, Sad Grill, up in the house. BK Born, up in the house. We hate dogs. Up in here. Lisa, what y'all got planned for the weekend? My man Louise, up in the building. Oh yeah, I got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. I got a lot to say. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on here. And I am so anxious to debate one of these people. And I want them to feel comfortable. And I don't see why it's so hard for me to get one of them to have some type of dialogue. Just write something. Write something. Write an email. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to make it public. Write it. And I'll respond to anything I disagree with. Just like I make videos and allow you to respond to anything you may disagree with. Your profession is on the line. Your dog culture is on the line. You have to take up for your culture, for Rover. It's not happening. That's just disappointing. Very disappointing. Now I got this filter. What is this? Yeah. Now for those who don't know, I got a strike on my other channel. And I got a strike. Oh, somebody's calling me. I got a strike because they said that it's against their policy to challenge a terrorist to a debate, because I welcomed the people who co-signed with this rhetoric to a debate. I sort of like requested that the actual would-be terrorists respond. They was like, oh, you can't do that. So I got a strike. But did that have to be a strike? I don't know. Did it have to be a strike? Could it have simply been removed without a strike? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, wow. So my mom hates dogs. Oh boy, this is a cartoon. It's a lot of crazy videos on YouTube, man. There's a lot of my videos on here. Oh, I gotta check this out. I'm sorry, people. I gotta check this out. I'm gonna turn that down. Oh no, that's goofy. This is a cartoon. So what in the world is going on out here? Say, please add YouTube channel to the book cover. I haven't even thought of the name yet. I got to be careful with the name. I have to get this right. I got to get it right. And I want something to trigger people. So that when they see the title, they have to know what's inside. And as long as it includes dog, you'll get a number of people who will have to read it. But I sort of want to trick or troll dog lovers into thinking that it's a pro-dog book. And then gradually, once they're into the book, they see this is actually an anti-dog book. That's how I want to spin it on them. That's how I am going to do it. I just haven't figured out how. I want it to be right. I don't want to miss. I'm sorry. I have that perfectionist mentality, even though I'm not always perfect. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I wasn't gonna wait till. I can't wait till. There's no way I could go a week without venting. I gotta say something. Yeah. Right. And he also. Okay. Yeah. Blaming the victim. It's the rule. They have made an oath. They have what is it? They've taken an oath to always deflect blame away from the dog. They've done this without verbally saying it. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you, it is programmed in their mind, almost as if they made a verbal oath. Always blame something other than the dog. It's a very powerful part of their culture. It's a bona fide cult we're dealing with. These narratives, they permeate through their population strategically. Social media helps a whole lot. But it's always blame anything, living or not. Just don't blame the dog for the dog's behavior, for what the dog does. You heard this vet get up there and say it, that it's not something that the dog did. Like, what are you talking about? The dog carried out the attack. It was completely the act of the dog. But they want to take all the blame off the dog in order to keep them in society. That's the only way they can justify the presence of dogs. It's to blame everything but the dog. And that's what I'm saying. This culture is on the clock because the average person takes pleasure in exposing con games. Like it's a natural human instinct to find pleasure out of exposing a con artist. And this is nothing but a massive con. People just don't like to be taken advantage of, manipulated, or conned. This culture is on the clock. Man, wow. I feel like I've been talking for about a half hour. I'm already over an hour. People, I got to get up out of here. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Yeah. Shout out to Ashar and Dave C in the house. And shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. I look forward to Tuesday, and I hope to see all of you back on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.